Today we are in InWorldz with a Z at the end, and we are going to be looking at the mesh deformer or mesh deforming clothing. Now, the mesh deformer is some code that was created to allow mesh clothing to fit around any size avatar without much adjustment. And in the virtual world of Second Life, uh, currently they haven't implemented the mesh deformer. So the only way for clothing to fit your avatar perfectly is for the clothing to be made for your avatar, which is a very bad way to implement mesh clothing in any virtual world. It just causes a lot of problems for customers, and they get many more meshes. It's more work for the clothing creator, a lot more work for them, and the mesh deformer is just a better solution to it all. So as you can see, I have a female avatar here, and she's wearing a tank top, and that's mesh deforming around her, and a pair of jeans. So let's take a good look at this clothing here. Let's zoom in, and you can see it all fits around her pretty perfectly. And I have some other shapes. I'm going to change into some other body shapes and let you see how the clothing just fits to whatever shape there is, really. Almost. I mean, there are some limits, and the default Second Life avatar is very low poly, so anytime you put something over that, which is not the exact same um, amount of polys and in the same position, you're going to have some poke through because the Second Life avatar is a little boxy. So anyways, let's change some shapes here. Right now we're on the default female shape. So this is the female shape at all its default settings. And now we'll go to, actually let's go to the pregnant female shape here. So now here is the shape in a female shape that's kind of more pregnant. And of course the animations aren't going to fit her all that well, but and if you see, there's a little bit of poke through that came through, and that was the alpha layer that was reloading. And I think it's doing the same thing on the pants here. See, and now it's loaded, and now it looks almost perfect. So there's a pregnant woman, and we'll go to a maxed out female, almost maxed out. And as you can see, there are some problems with the shirt near the bottom. There are some things you can do, some adjustments you can make with a shirt layer to fix some of this. So, and I'll show you a little bit of that later. But if you look, I mean, it's pretty much forming around her shape. And there's some stretching in the texturing, which you have to assume is going to happen. The way things are pushed and pulled, it's just inevitable. So we'll change to another. This one's pretty extreme. It's a child, more of a female child. And it just automatically fits around her. We'll go to average female shape. So this is more average with bigger hips and, of course, a larger chest. And there's the alpha layer reloading. But it all works pretty good. And I'll go into some sliders next. Okay, now let's go into the body shape sliders. So we're going to right click on ourselves, appearance, shape, edit shape. And let's go to the body. This will change the whole body, so we can change the height. We could change body thickness, body fat, and hover. And then at the very end we have torso. Now I'm just playing with, I'm not going to do anything with the head or anything because that doesn't have anything to do with the clothing. And of course I'm working on a female because the clothing deformer, I mean, it's way more challenging for a female body than a male body. A male body just isn't going to have these problems. So now we're on the torso. So muscles, neck thickness, that doesn't have anything to do. Shoulders, let's turn and face her. Shoulders, let's go like that. Turn her muscles down. Breast size, okay. So let's go to the side a little bit here. So at any extreme, you'll see there's no poke through with the clothing. Buoyancy. Now here's where I did have some issues with buoyancy. If we zoom in and we look at the very top here, so buoyancy, at the lowest extreme, I get this little point that sticks out, and I've tried to move it I don't know how many times now, but I've just given up at this point. But at the very other extreme, you'll see a little bit of poke through, just a tiny bit. So, you know, that's only the extremes though. You got to give it some leeway. And then of course, cleavage. And what else here? Arm length, hand size, torso length. And love handles. Belly size. Now there is some poke through, and that's because the alpha layer doesn't go all the way down. And I just couldn't do that because as I was playing with a lot of the different morphs, it just wasn't good to bring it all the way down, because with some morphs you'll see the alpha layer. It'll stretch out underneath, so you have to give it some leeway. But like I said, these are extremes, so I wasn't too worried about it. It'll fit, 99% of all the users. Leg muscles, leg length. And let's move this camera up a bit. So leg length, maybe a little longer than that. Hip width. Hip length, butt size. Oh, this is a good one. So it's pretty extreme, and you have to, there's going to be stretching. But as, the artist, you can try and form it so it's stretching correctly for the most part. Saddlebags. And that's about it for the body. The last feature is pretty cool and really turns mesh clothing into something the customer has some control over. So not only do you have the mesh, the clothing with the deformer forming it around your body, but you can also wear a pair of pants underneath your jeans or your top to either give you a looser fit, a baggy fit, lower crotch, or whatever. And I'll show you that right now. I'm already wearing it. You see at the bottom, I'm already wearing. I call it the jeans fit, and then it says optional on the side because you don't have to wear it. but it gives you more control over how it fits. And it's just a regular pair of jeans that's underneath, but now I can use the sliders for those jeans to change the way the jeans fit. So here we go. Female jeans fit optional. So now I want to edit this, and I get all these sliders here, so we can look at the ones that best work for this. Now, pant length you probably do not want to play with, because it's gonna make it kind of ugly. The bottoms, at least, because the meshes are made to fit a certain way. So altering that part could get weird. But waist height, that is good, because the jeans that are underneath, I used the same texture for the meshes. They're not perfect jeans, so you can't wear these jeans all by themselves, these default jeans. Only the mesh jeans did I spend the time and try and match everything up. So the ones underneath are not perfect, but they match up with the jeans, the mesh jeans, so that you can eliminate any kind of poke through. So as you can see, waist height will give you a little leeway. It changes the mesh slightly, you can barely see it, and then it raises the layer underneath in case you have some poke through up there. But I'm going to leave it like somewhere in the middle here. And then jeans fit. So now you can see how it's getting really baggy now. And we can look at it from behind here. So if you like baggy jeans, there you go. And we'll loosen that a little bit here. Cuff flare probably isn't the best one, just because, like I said, the jeans, the bottoms are made to fit a certain way, at least the bottoms of them. It just gets really hairy when you start using those morphs with mesh. The crotch. Now here's another one that especially males might use this a little bit more, where you just have a lower crotch, and pant wrinkle does nothing. But you have a few options there to change how your jeans fit, and it's a little something extra for the customer. And the tops does the same thing. I'm not wearing them right now. Where is it? Here we go. There's the fit. And then we can go to edit it, and sleeve length, nothing. Shirt bottom. So this kind of changes the way it fits. You could have, it's a lot tighter there. If you do that. Collar, that doesn't do anything. This shirt fits, so you can have a little bit baggier. Of course, this kind of screws up the bottom. So not much I can do about that. But you have a few options, and I think it's well worth it for creators to create like fit layers, like I've done other clothing creators. I think it really adds to mesh outfits. But that's a quick look, and of course with mine I have, in the package I'm selling, I have a bunch of different color options and texture options. Okay, there's the darker pair. And here's the lighter pair. But that's basically the mesh clothing. I'll have some information underneath the video where you can purchase these clothing items inside of InWorldz, not inside of Second Life. Second Life doesn't have the mesh deformer. I just want to point that out one more time. But that's a look at mesh deforming clothing. Have a good one.